Peace, family. We should be live right now. Peace to everybody out there tuning in. Definitely appreciate y'all waiting. We are now live. We about to get started. Or a lot of y'all like the title, right? Yeah, it's gonna be a great show tonight. It's gonna be a great show. Sister Myra has been dealing with this topic for a while, and we're in the perfect time to receive this message. So, what I want to do before I bring the sister on, I want to get to a few commercials and then we'll get started. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you tell your friends and family we are live. We're going to get started in about 1 minute, family. Be right back.
Welcome to the Sacred Tree. This is Stardust Jewelry for the collective. All of our pieces are spiritually downloaded, handcrafted, and created with the love and healing powers of our set. We pride ourselves on using nothing but the best crystals, 14 karat gold, and sterling silver to highlight the conductivity of this alchemical process. So many superpowers for us to tap into, and the crystals are here to help you. I always say whatever crystal you choose, it chooses you at the same time. It's a symbiotic relationship. So feel free to tap into the sacredtree.life, see what we have to offer. Rock.
It's the numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. On Sunday, October 9th in Stone Mountain Village from 2 to 7 p.m. Papa Ashwa Kwesi and the Red Pillar will be in Stone Mountain. Get your tickets through Linktree/King Simon the Numerator or text now at 347-496-1022. Get your tickets now.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
All right, family, we are back. Shout out to the Sacred Tree of Life. I think the first ad was that brother. He got that tiger's claw of Shiva. He got some good pieces. So shout out to that brother. I'm definitely want to get some stuff from him. Sister Myra, welcome back, Queen. Welcome back. A pleasure having you back. Oh man, it's always good having you on here.
Always glad to be on, Brother Rich. And let me give a shout out to you, your royal audience. And, I always forget, but I want to return my shout out to Brother Rod Hayes. He is really doing a lot of good work. I am really vibing with his material. He's putting in place pieces that, are coming together for a bigger picture for me anyway. So I wanted to give a shout out back to him. I guess you want me to just get started or?
Well, let me just say something real quick because I know you about to go off. I know you about to go off.
Once I get started.
I know the Queen about to go off. The people, they ready. We almost got 1,000 people in the chat already. Let me just say this. There's so much stuff. Yeah, shout out to Rod Hayes, my brother Rod Hayes. Love and light to that brother right there. Amazing brother. Sister Myra, before you get started, it's just so your message. And I said this when you came on my program last year. Your message is so important for the time we live in right now. And you've been talking about this for quite some time in the cosmic royal family. And you talk about daughter Earth and everything that's happening. And what you talked about, we could feel it inside our heart and soul right now. We feel it. We don't hear you. We feel you.
Yes.
That's what makes your message so powerful. So with the passing of what just happened in England, people are wondering change is coming. Everybody's thinking about times is changing right now.
Yes.
So I'm like, this is the perfect time to get you on here and talk about the resurrection of this royal cosmic family. Sister Myra, with that being said, you could go in and I just come toward the end with some questions.
Okay. The thing is, whenever I'm asked to do public speaking, once I get the topic, then I look at the energy. So definitely we're going in on Virgo. Okay.
Virgo. That's me. I'm a Virgo.
Yeah, I know. I know that.
Talk about it.
Yes. So that's what we have to do now. It's time for us to step up, you guys. We're stepping up to a new level, which means we have to step up in the way we see things. But now I have to start looking at things holistically, which means combining energy. I'm an energy master. I'm talking energy, vibrations, okay? And it's time for us to step up our perspective. One of the reasons I call myself a holistic is because I don't believe in 12 individual signs anymore. I believe in 6 axes of energy. Wherever you balance opposites is where you create the whole, holistic. And if you're not looking at it holistically, you're seeing a part of the whole, and that's always going to be the illusion. So we got to start stepping up and seeing things from a higher perspective. And that starts with the balance of opposites, okay? Balancing opposites. We're now being influenced from what I call from the highest vibrations of the universe. We're being influenced from what I call the 3 crosses, those 3 cross levels. The cardinal cross, Aries opposite Libra, Cancer opposite Capricorn. The fixed cross, Aquarius opposite Leo, and Taurus opposite Scorpio. And then we have the mutable cross, which is Gemini opposite Sagittarius, and Virgo opposite Pisces. So you see Virgo Pisces is the last axis of energy out of the 6 axes. But you have to put the 2 halves together to see the whole. And so the first 6 signs is going to represent the physical half of the astrological cycle or spiral. And then the second 6 signs are the spiritual half. And that's how we're balancing. We're the individual vessels. Anytime you're dealing physical, you're dealing individual. So we're the individual vessels that can now take our vibration to the highest levels of energy in the universe. And that is identified most prominently through the 4 elements. That is where we tap into the highest 4 components of what I call the royal family of energy. The royal family is those highest vibrations, the 4 elements. And we're the individual vessels that can tap into that vibration and channel it and manifest it at ground level. That's what we're stepping into now as the new rulers for the Aquarian age. Aquarius is always the sign of evolution. So it's time for us to evolve to a new level. And like I said, the first 6 signs represents the physical half. So when we entered Aries, the cardinal fire, which will represent the prince, anytime we're dealing with the fire element, we're dealing with the sun component. SON, individual, and SUN at the planetary level, because we're dealing with many, many levels from one end to the opposite end, from the lowest to the highest. You know, as they say, as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything is about the balance of opposites. That's the key to everything in the universe, balance. So from the individual vessel, and as high as you can take that vibration, and that deals with the 4 qualities of those 4 elements. We have the water element, the mama component, compassion, and love. We have the fire element, the sun, passions, desires, all the way up to creative powers at the highest vibration. I don't know why I get the blinking here. And then we have the air element. That is that is how we think, and that is how we tap into the highest vibration of righteous thinking. And then we have the earth, which deals with character, values, healing. So as high as we take those vibrations individually, as high as we can spiral it back to us, you see. Everything is about the balance of opposites and opposite reflection. So that being said, when we came into Aries, the cardinal fire, the prince, that was bringing the energy. That's the first sign in the physical half of this operation. Aries is the sign of spiritual warfare. So that means a spiritual warfare had been activated as we entered Aries in this cycle of energy. Aries brought this, opened up the stage for spiritual warfare. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. That's the domain Aries rule. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. The cardinal fire, the fixed earth, and the mutable air. Okay? So, bringing warfare from the to the physical level. And once Aries had released its energy for warfare, spiritual warfare at the physical level, then he passed the baton to the next cardinal sign, the queen, Cancer, okay? The mama. Anytime we're dealing with the water, we're dealing with the mama. Now, Cancer by itself represents what we call Kali Ma energy. Kali Ma, the ferocious, vicious mama, about protecting her family. All she cares about is her ancient, melanated, universal family. And she rules over Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Okay? So we got Kali Ma on her own through Cancer. But anytime you put you put Leo and Virgo together, you have Sekhmet. Sekhmet is one of the most ferocious energies of the universe. They can only release her at end time in her thirst for blood, and they have to trap her back into captivity once she's done her job. So, in the physical operation, Aries brought the energy of spiritual warfare to the table. Now mama's about to serve it up. And that's when things really get disruptive. When you get into that section of that astrological cycle, we call it the second quarter. Aries is the first quarter, and then we got Cancer activating the second quarter, which is the complete half of the physical half of the operation. And so Virgo, that's what we have to really focus on right now in context to what's happening overall. Because that's the one that's going to wrap up everything that mama. And Cancer represents, when we looking at the cardinal signs, we're going to get the royalty, the royal signs. Aries, cardinal fire, the prince. Cancer, cardinal water, the queen. Libra, cardinal air, the king. And Capricorn, cardinal earth, the princess. So the spiritual warfare is now reached the Virgo stage. Virgo is the sign of cleansing, purification. This is why Virgos are so meticulous when it comes to details, because they can leave no stone unturned as they hunt out all impurities to cleanse and purge in order for us to heal. First, I want to say we have all the signs in us. Most people only pay attention to their sun sign, but you need to pay attention to all the signs because we're holistic people, and it's about balance. That's the key to everything in the universe is balance. You have all the energy, just matter where it shows up. Your sun sign is what you came into this lifetime to focus. It's the energy you wanted to focus through in this lifetime. So now it's time to identify with where Virgo and how Virgo is affecting you and your energy. This is the energy of cleansing and purifying. in order to heal. Now, all earth element, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, all earth signs are the energy of healing. But in particular, Virgo of the earth signs. We call it the harvest sign. It's like the Virgin Mama who cleanses and purifies the Leo sun. We have, and so false values to the physical half of this operation. And once you're cleansed and purified of false values to this matrix, that is how you're now ready to ascend above the horizon line into the spiritual half through Libra, where you now can get into a balance and righteous and equal partnership with your own spirit. First sign in the spiritual half. Okay? Cleansed and purified by the Virgin Mama. So, we're in the warfare now under Mama's auspices, Mama's domain, the Queen. Everything is about opposites. You have to know that. That's the Aquarian age. So as we see this reality falling, we have to know automatically in opposition, spiritual reality is rising at the same rate we're seeing the physical reality falling is the same rate we have to know we're rising in our energy vibration to step up in an opposite reflection, to what we have now completed. What a lot of people don't understand about energy, it has to unfold through a negative and positive polarity. No pain, no gain. To the same extent the pain will be the same extent the gain. What they don't understand is that you have to complete one half before you activate the opposite response in equal measure. In other words, energy only can go 180 degrees before it has to be balanced out with the opposite 180 degrees to complete a 360-degree spiral. Spirit is spiral. What goes around comes around. The head is being made the tail, and the tail is being made the head. We're getting a reversal. So as we see the demise of the physical royal energy, understand that's just the reflection of us stepping up to our royal powers, you see. And what a fitting place for this to happen than in the Virgo energy, because it's showing you where we're being cleansed, purified, in order to heal in our wisdom. It's the sign of wisdom. I actually look at Virgo as the Christ child, actually, because it's from Virgo that we ascend into the spiritual domain, like I said, through Libra, now cleansed and purified, and can get a partnership, an equal partnership with our own spirit, and come to our individual Christhood. What we're dealing with is many, many levels, from one end all the way up to the opposite end. So the first level, individual. An individual balance with your own spirit, your own partnership in your own spirit, which means we've done our half. The physical half is where we do the sacrifice and struggles. We're the sacrifice and struggle half of this operation, and not just this lifetime. All the sacrifices and struggles for all our lifetimes, and even the sacrifices and struggles of our ancestors. All that is now ready to be tallied up. so that we get full complement in opposite spiritual return, in spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment. So this is what we're seeing on a major global scale, where we see the physical royalty and its demise is only reflective of our rise in time for our ascension to the next level, to a new level of spiritual rulership. This is an infinite process of transformation, regeneration, and evolution of spiritual rulership. And anytime we get into the Aquarius age, that is the point of evolution. Aquarius is the sign of evolution. Each one of us has taken a purpose and a mission when we were energy beings. And we decided what purpose we wanted to contribute to the fulfillment of this highest universal royal purpose. And we've been mastering for many lifetimes to do that, to bring that mastery to the table in this final lifetime before evolution, so we can all make our own unique contributions to a new creative rulership that is now ready to blossom. So we're there. We're here. We've hit all the points. And now it's time for us to step up to the authority of that royalty. Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. It's the sign of I know. So now, and its opposite sign is Leo, the creative rulership, a new creative rulership, the evolution of a new creative rulership as you balance Aquarius with Leo. However, in order to step up to that rulership, you have to know your power. You have to know you're a ruler in order to activate that rulership. But now it's not enough just to know anymore. Now we have to walk in that knowing. It's a difference in knowing and walking in the knowing. And it's time for us to step up and begin to walk in the authority of our royalty. Universe is not saving the world right now. It's only identifying who qualifies to step up as a new ruler. There's two prerequisites it judges you by to identify who does step up as a new ruler. Everyone is stepping up. Everyone is going to evolve. Earth is going to evolve. Daughter Earth is going to evolve on all levels. Right now, however, the universe is identifying who qualifies to step up as a royal ruler in this new rulership. And there's two criterias, and those two criterias that you're judged by is, number one, you have to be secure from within, from the internal. You have to be secure internally. You can't look outside yourself through your ego to step up to this rulership. Security is internal. Earth and water are internal. Air and fire are external. Air and fire is the masculine half, where earth and water is the feminine. Everything did start matriarchal. All colors come from the color black, the original black mama universe. Why our ancestors came out as the original rulers. They had powers to fly. They could breathe underwater. They could talk telepathically. with each other, the animals, the plants, the universe, and we still have those powers. However, they're subconscious, not of the conscious reality. The conscious half is the external. The air element represents the conscious reality. Father's domain, the air element, Father's spirit. This is what's significant about Virgo being highlighted right now, because Virgo, opposite sign, is Pisces. Pisces is the sign of the subconscious. That's where we enter into our Akashic records, our ancient memory, a reconnection to our ancestors, and the powers they have. So this is how we access that, through Pisces, or the energy of the subconscious. And our subconscious has been polluted in false beliefs. We've been programmed in this illusionary reality through doubts, fears, and guilt, which has polluted us, moving our spirit out from the subconscious, or our ancient memory, and we're moving our spirit out from doubt, fears, and guilt. So that is why we're getting the Virgo on the opposite end, which is cleansing and purifying of all the things that has perpetuated individually our doubts, fears, and guilts. So it comes together collectively as a purification and a cleansing for clear access to Pisces, our subconscious, reconnecting to our ancestors and the gifts and the powers of our ancestors. That is what we're getting in the balance between that sixth axis of energy between Virgo and Pisces. So this has been a major cleansing operation, because there has been a 70-year reign in opposition to what we're here to accomplish, as we're stepping up to a new rulership, a new humanitarian rulership out of the abuse of power. One sin spiritually, multitude of sins physically, one sin spiritually, and that is the abuse of power. I don't care how much power you're given. Are you going to use it abusively, or are you going to use it righteously? This is how we're being judged by the universe. In order to use it righteously and not give in to your ego, you have to be secure from within. Earth and water are internal. Earth deals with your security, and water deals with your emotional happiness. Mama, the water element, speaks to us internally through how we feel. And that is from our ancient memory, because she is the ancient of ancients when it comes to energy. She's the source of energy. All vibrations come from Mama Universe. And she passes that scepter down through Daughter Earth. All souls come in through Mama Universe and are manifested and materialized through Daughter Earth. So she talks to us internal through how we feel from our ancient memory. Mama is the magical component. Mama magic. First two letters of magic is Ma. Where Father deals with logic and reason, they are opposites, air and water. Conscious mind, subconscious mind. Neither one's higher or lower than the other. It's got to be a balance between the two. But we've just completed the half of the masculine half, the air and fire, father and son. But the universe is about balance. That's the key to everything in the universe is balance. If there's a father, has to be a mama. There's a son, there has to be a daughter. The internal. That's where our true magic comes from. The soul realm. Others don't have access. They only have air and fire working in their behalf. Like the specialists. They're specialists when it comes to air and fire. And we're like the general practitioners. We have to have our feet on all four of those pistons in the engine, signified by those four elements. And the complete balance. If it's not balanced, it's not whole. If it's not whole, it's not real. You're only looking at an illusion when you're looking at a part of the whole. So we are the holistic people, and we have to step up now to our holistic purpose. This is the lifetime to do that. We have mastered individually each lifetime. When we completed one life mastery in one lifetime, it took us to the next lifetime, where we continued that mastery to the next lifetime, then to the next lifetime, all the way up until the Aquarius age, where it's now time for evolution. We've balanced on enough levels for our evolution, and of course, the opposite, Leo, the evolution of a creative rulership. There's a connection between Leo and Virgo because it symbolizes, like I said, mama's domain, the queen, and the warfare now, getting down to the nitty gritty. So we're saying queen against queen. And mama's ammunition has to do with Leo and Virgo. Like I said, combining them is where we release segment at. And when you put Leo and Virgo together, you have the sphinx as well. Body of the lion, Leo, the power, and the head of the woman, Virgo, wisdom. Power guided by wisdom. Power without wisdom is futile. So this is the energy, and we're on the last cycle, you guys, for evolution. That's why we're going to see an enhancement of everything that's been unfolding through these cycles of energy, through many, many lifetimes. It takes many lifetimes to fulfill a universal purpose. That's what we're doing now. We're fulfilling a universal purpose. So you have to follow, if we start with Leo, that represents the creative rulership. And, Cancer, like I said, activating this creative rulership, which has to be cleansed and purged of all the impurities, which are the values that we've attached ourselves in this physical illusion. When you put Virgo and Leo together, you have, it's now time to supersede the ego, Leo, and open the heart, also Leo, to the value of the one of wisdom. That's what time it is, superseding ego and opening the heart for wisdom. That's what the Sphinx is representing. And this is the rulership as we, on the physical end, as the physical vessels, cleanse and purify of false values to this physical end of the operation, where we make our sacrifices and struggles. That is the rulership that is to be fulfilled. You always fulfill to the opposite. So we're going to fulfill the rulership where we've been cleansed and purified. This has all been an alchemical process, you guys. That is the fulfillment as we moved out of the Piscean age, the opposite of Virgo, into the Aquarian age, the opposite of Leo. So this is the time for the fulfillment of a rulership when we've completed this sacrificial struggle half of this alchemical process. Energy only unfolds through a negative and positive polarity. No pain, no gain. To the same extent the pain is the same extent the gain. As bad as it's been is as good as it's about to get. We had to complete the sacrificial struggle half. Virgo, being the last sign in the physical half, represents that completion in this spiritual warfare that Aries activated. So now is the time, as we're crossing over to the opposite return on spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment, as we're stepping up to a new rulership, out of the abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. And it's time for us to step up and recognize who we are as holistic beings. Aquarius is going to demand that. I know. Leo, creative ruler. I know I am a creative ruler in order to step up to that rulership. If you don't know it, you don't have it. I know I repeat myself a lot, but it's such layered information that we have to continue to reiterate, and as all these levels start to unfold. And it's the perspective we're at as to when it really begins to have meaning. You may have heard it over and over again, but it's not until you get to a certain place that you'll hear it with the meaning to really overstand. That is the whole thing, is overstanding. As I talked about those lifetimes, when we mastered in each lifetime the purpose we chose to contribute to this larger universal purpose. Each lifetime, I always say, represented a piece of puzzle, one piece of the puzzle. And you didn't understand that piece of the puzzle, but you mastered with help through your spirit. And that gave you access to the next lifetime, where you continued that mastery and added another piece of that puzzle. And this is what continued on and on and on in spirals until we reached the Aquarius age. And we did reach that in 2013. 13 is the highest vibrational number, 13 cycles. So we reached that Aquarius age, where we're now bringing our final pieces of mastery, final pieces of puzzles to the table in contribution, so that we can now see the bigger purpose or the bigger picture that's been unfolding for many, many lifetimes. Putting those final pieces in place to fulfill and complete this evolutionary process. This is an infinite process. Transformation, regeneration, and evolution of rulership. Whenever rulership gets so stagnated and corrupted, that is when the Aquarian age evolves us to a new level. The planetary ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and that's about sudden and abrupt, explosive changes, unique changes. So it disrupts the status quo of a corrupted and stagnated system of rulership. And now all our systems of rulership has become ultimately corrupted to a global level, a global corruption, a global agenda of corruption. But the wonderful thing about that is that the next phase after the global level is planetary. And that's how we bring Big Mama in, because the planets are Mama Universe's children. The second prerequisite to qualify as a royal ruler, or how you're judged as a royal ruler, and that's only a Zion factor, a small mustard seed, not the way of the masses, the way of the few. And the second prerequisite, and there's only two, is you have to prove to the universe that you will not abuse that power, that you will use it righteously. Because as our predecessors abused their powers, they screwed up the world. We abuse our powers, it's going to be detrimental to the universe. So this has all been an alchemical process to teach us how to use our powers righteously before we could fully be endowed with those powers. This is the whole story behind Osiris, Asar, and Set. I've already told that story where he cut him to those 14 pieces. And it's now time for the resurrection. That's the collective empowerment that we're stepping up to. Because if you follow the astrological cycle, that is what you will see. Like I said, starting with Aries, the spiritual warrior, bringing the spiritual warfare, the energy from Sirius, our ancient power, to the physical manifestation in that warfare. And now Aries, the cardinal fire, the prince, has passed the baton to the queen, the cardinal water, Cancer. And so now we're getting ready to complete that half where we're purged and cleansed. The last phase, Virgo, the rinse cycle, where we see the major destruction. And we just saw a major destruction yesterday of a rulership based in ultimate corruption, a 70-year reign that contribute to all of the colonizations, everything opposite of what we're stepping up to in a new humanitarian rulership. Pisces, the opposite of Virgo, is the sign of compassion. Everyone has to be included that have been the outcast and the neglected of society. That's why Pisces represents the hospitals and the prisons. Everyone has to be included in this process before it's completed. So when we go from Cancer to Leo, the sun, planetary ruler is Leo, of Leo is the sun. So whenever we get the sun, that's exposure, everything being exposed, nothing left unturned when it comes to full exposure. And this being the last cycle before our evolution, it's all being enhanced now. So everything being exposed in this corrupted rulership, all the systems of the world, political system, especially the medical system, the entertainment system, the news media, the educational system, and every type of system you can think of is fully corrupted. What we're looking at now, as we look outside of ourselves and down, is not real. And whatever is real has been staged for the benefit of your focus, because that is how we energize, through our focus, which is your sun sign, Leo. And in order to get through, and I know it seems like I'm jumping around, but I come up with different points as I'm saying these things, because in order to get through to that cardinal water, Cancer, you have to get through the Gemini gateway. Gemini is the sign of discernment, being able to discern between the physical illusion versus spiritual reality. This is the point in the metaphysical movies when you see the warrior, Aries, going through the Twin Towers. And if he doesn't go through those Twin Towers in full discernment, you'll see the beam of light come out, strike him down. Bones all around the gateway. That's the Gemini gateway of discernment. We have to now be able to discern what's real spiritually versus what's false in the illusion, in order to get through to that cardinal queen mama, the water, Cancer, Kali Ma. Because, like I said, if she senses you're about to pollute her family, she's going to mess you up first and ask questions later. And we actually step into the power through Leo. So you have to get through Mama, Cancer, Kali Ma, before you can access your Leo power. So the Gemini gateway demands that we understand the true reality, spiritual versus this physical illusion. Looking at a part of the whole where you've been programmed in false values in this illusion. As I constantly repeat, the mama bird is trying to push the baby birds out of that proverbial material nest so they can find out they can fly. They've been liberated. They no longer have that yoke of materialism keeping them grounded in this physical illusion. I often have told the story of the how way back when I lived in Atlanta between 1989 and 2004. So when I lived in Atlanta, there was this news story about a woman named Terry Shibro, and she was on life support, and her husband wanted to take her off, and her parents wanted to keep her on. So they went to court. And then George Bush Jr., the president at that time, came out to support keeping her on life support. And that's when my antennas went up. Like, why would the president of the United States be concerned about whether this woman stays on life support or not? And so the universe is nothing but a perpetual answer, just waiting for the question. And the answer I got was that her name was Terry, which is symbolic of terra, or materialism, being propped up through an illusion, the life support, but it's not real. The value is not real. And the husband won the suit, and they took her off of life support, and she died. And in the same week she died, the Pope died, the father of illusion. We're dealing with symbolism. Whenever we're dealing with the spiritual language, it's always got to be symbolic, not literal. That's what we got to step out of, that literal way of thinking. That's their forte. Ours is conceptual, symbolic, collective, spiritual. Spiritual is the collective. So, in other words, once materialism dies, then so does the illusion. No more manipulating us through materialism. Now it will be through brute force. That is what was symbolic of that, and we're seeing signs of that when it comes to well, they say, even in the Bible, they say in the last days they're going to be throwing money in the street because it has no value, and we're very quickly approaching that reality. So the mama bird is trying to give us the practice to step away from our dependency on that material power, because material power is opposite spiritual power. So breaking our dependency so that we can discover our access to the powers we now have through spirit, and how we can tap up to the highest royal vibrations of the universe. We are the vessels that can energize into manifestation and materialization from the vibrations from that royal family of energy. Like I said, the air, righteous Father Spirit, the Father component, where more than one is called in my name, so shall I be, Father Spirit, because you have to pool energy to create spirit. Spirit is always a combination of energy. That's why we don't see it instantly, because it has to unfold. It has to connect the dots. It has to bring all the pieces together in fulfillment before it can demonstrate its work. Spirit does not work in fraction. It's a collective. So Father Spirit, the air element, the air always deal with the mind, how we think. So that's how Father Spirit speaks to us. Righteous Father Spirit speaks to us through how we think. His job is to create a righteous collective mindset. And then we have the fire, like I said, the sun, our desires, our passions, but the highest vibration of the sun or the fire is our creative powers. And then we have the balance with the earth and water, the internal, the feminine. Like I said, everything started matriarchal. All colors from the color black, the original Black Mama universe. Matriarchal, when we had our ancestors had their powers and their gifts. But spirit is spiral. So it spiraled down from the matriarchal half to the patriarchal half. And when we get into the Aquarian age, it's come full circle. Time to balance on both halves. Father Spirit, the conscious reality, with Mama's soul, the subconscious reality. And as those two energy components come into equalization, We're talking about, if we're looking symbolically, we're going to look at the solstice as the father and the mama, because when planetary, at the planetary level, and the father would represent Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and then the mama would represent the moon, the ruler of Cancer. And as these two come into balance, remember, you have to complete one half before you activate the opposite half. And we've completed and mastered on the external, the masculine at this time. So that has been completed. And now we're going to activate the opposite response from the feminine half, the earth and the water, the internal. Come back to our antiquity, full circle. Spirit is spiral, goes around, comes around. So it's time to come back full circle. Now we have to put a pin in what we think until we have equalized the water, or what we feel from within. Father speaks to us external through the mind, and mama speaks to us internal through how we feel, but from our ancient memory. Father tells us where we're headed. How do we move forward and fulfill our spiritual purpose and destiny? As mama tells us where we came from, our ancient lineage, our antiquity, our ancestry. So now we've come back full circle. Mama speaks to us, like I said, from within, through how we feel. She works the magic. First two letters of magic is Ma, where Father, the air element, is just the opposite. He deals with logic and reason, knowing, understanding. And then the fire is our passions. So knowing and understanding what we do with our passions, our desires, what we do with our power. Where the earth and water, the internal, the earth, our security, our values, our healing, our character. That's the earth element, the daughter component. It's not Mother Earth. It's daughter Earth. It's mother to some people, but for us as universal people, that's daughter Earth and Mama Universe. You have to understand the nature of their relationship. Mama Universe, daughter Earth. Anytime we're dealing with the earth element, we're dealing with the daughter component. And we're not talking male, female, we're talking masculine and feminine, which is internal and external. Masculine, external, air and fire. Feminine, internal, earth and water. So being secure from within, that's the earth element. When you're secure from within, then you're not as prone to look outside yourself through your ego and be manipulated by your ego to be used as a tool against this universal purpose. That's something you have to go internal. That's how we rise through those chakras, the Kundalini, to that crown chakra, where we make that connection to Mama Universe. That's an internal venture. And so being secure from within, the earth element. And we're on the second phase of that with the Virgo, cleansing us and purifying us of all the things that have perpetuated our doubts, our fears, and our guilts. Because those are the three things that keep us grounded in the illusion. And that is their whole role to do right now, is to keep us distracted and focused outside and down in this illusion. We can't be walking in fears right now. We can't be acting as victims. If we're trying to qualify as new rulers. You can't be a tentative ruler. We got to be secure in our power of rulership. That is the security from within that is necessary to stabilize us in the right values and the right character. Because the second half of that royal family, like I said, is when we get into the spiritual half, now we're dealing with the cardinal heir Libra, as we went from Leo, Cancer, activating Mama's rulership, to Leo, the resurrection of the sun, or the resurrection of our power as the sun, to Virgo, where we've cleansed and purified of all the false values of this illusionary reality in order to ascend above the horizon line into the spiritual domain, because that's where we get to the equinox. We deal with the solstice with Mama and Father and Mama. Saturn the father, Capricorn at the winter solstice, and then Cancer, the moon, the Mama at the summer solstice. Now as we go up that horizon line into the spiritual half, the first sign in the spiritual half is Libra, the cardinal heir. So now we're at the equinox, because the opposite of Libra is Aries, the cardinal fire, where it becomes the son and the daughter. Those four components: Mama, Father and Mama, and then the son and the daughter. The son through Aries as Mars, and the daughter through Libra as Venus. Because when we get above the horizon line into the spiritual half, anytime we're dealing with spirit, there has to be a combination. Remember, you have to pull energy for spirit. So when we look at the cardinal Libra and Capricorn, we're dealing with Libra, we're dealing with the father through the air element. However, we're dealing with the daughter through the planetary ruler, Venus. Then as we look at Capricorn, the cardinal earth, we're looking at the daughter through the earth element, and we're looking at the father through Saturn, its planetary ruler. So those two cardinal signs represent both father and daughter. And then at the cardinal physical half, you have Aries, fire, and its planetary ruler, Mars, is fire. And we have Cancer, water, planetary ruler is the moon, water. So that's singular in that water element. You can get no higher perspective than the four elements as far as identifying energy. Everything, every deity, every god, every archetype, they're all going to fall under one of those four elements. Every last one of them. One of those four elements: the mama, the father, the son, and the daughter. And that's what we're doing now. We're completing a half of sacrifice and struggle. That's just how energy unfolds, through a negative and positive polarity. No pain, no gain, but you have to complete one half, and then you'll see the equal response in equal measure. Wherever you have sacrificed and struggled is only a prelude to what is about to blossom in opposite return and spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment. It's time to step up to a new rulership, out of the abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. And before that can happen, we have to be cleansed and purged of false values that we have been programmed to believe is real in this physical illusion. And that is Virgo's job. To cleanse and purify us of those false values so we can heal in our wisdom and make our ascension to a higher purpose that we've been mastering. And everyone has something to bring to the table in that mastery and contribution. That is the importance of understanding that you don't blend energy, that you have to harmonize energy, because everybody has a unique purpose to bring to the table in contribution to the whole. And it's about being holistic. That's going to step us up. We got to step up and see things now holistically. That means both sides of the coin. In a lot of the past presentations, I've gotten some feedback in how some people have felt, what can I say? They felt upset about some of the things that I've talked about when it came to things like homosexual, interracial relationships. I want to use this premise to help you see how things are seen differently when you start seeing things holistic. You can't just look at one side of the coin and then, take offense of that. We have everything is about the balance of opposites. And one of the ultimate balances is from the personal level to the collective level, or the individual, or the physical to the spiritual, the individual to the collective half of operation. That means on the personal half, you have the right to choose to love who you love. I have family members that fit those types of relationships, and I love them unconditionally. It is not my job to sit in judgment. It's not our job to sit in judgment of anyone, because we all have things that someone else might see and have fault with in us. So we can't sit around here judging each other. That is not for us to do. That's not our role to do. That's between each individual and their spirit. But you have a personal right to love who you love. I love my family, no matter what type of relationship they want to be in. I love them unconditionally. But because I love them unconditionally, personally, doesn't give me the right to enforce that on everyone else to feel the way I feel collectively. There's a difference between personal and collective. They're opposites, but they have to work together. They have to work in harmony. They have to work in balance. So I have the individual right to make my personal choice and decisions. However, I have to be able to harmonize collectively with others who may not hold that same personal value. We all have to do that for each other. So it's the difference. If you're looking at things holistically, you have to see both sides of the coin. What's personal versus what works collectively versus what works for you individually and personally. It's all about the balance. We're the individual vessels. And right now, there's an evolution, there's an expansion of this creative process. That means we're all able to bring our unique purposes to the table. I have gay clients, gay family members, interracial couples in my family, and I'm not judging them for that. So you can stop calling me homophobic. When I do that, I'm describing the personal half versus the collective. When we go into the collective half, then we're going to follow the systems. Dang, I don't know why that's flashing like that. The systems. Now we're going to deal in a collective. Now it's going to be about what works for a larger purpose, what works for the overall. And then we'll get into spiritual principles. That means there's formulas for spiritual energy, for activating spiritual energy. And that works through yin and yang. The balance of opposites is the ultimate formula in the creative process. What is nature? What is natural? We're going to do collectively in the cycle of natural. What's natural? What's nature? When it comes to the creative process. I don't know why the light is blinking. I'm not seeing it blinking here, but it is what it is. And that's what we have to do now. We have to start accepting what is. And we've had a chance to now decide what values, what creative purpose we want to contribute, we want to bring to the table, and included in this evolution and expansion of this creative process. And at the same way that we're getting an expansion of the degradation of the physical half of the operation, at the simultaneous, you got to know that the same rate you see one in declining is the same rate the opposite is rising. So what I've been told, and I did get permission to speak this, is that I think the last time I was talking about the degenerate cycle, and that started with the interracial, homosexual, pedophilia, bestiality, and necrophilia. That was the degenerate cycle. And some people were upset that why would she put homosexuality on a degenerate cycle? I didn't put anything on anything. All I am is a reporter for the cosmos. I just report energy, vibrations, and how they operate. So it wasn't me who did that. I just reported that. But what I've been told is that those first two are being taken off of the degenerate cycle, or being taken to another level, because I do believe we're in the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, but I think it was misrepresented when it came to, or things have expanded past, the interracial and the homosexual start of that cycle. we're dealing more with the transgender situation. And it's not so much about interracial as to because we got just as many black devils now as we do white ones, okay? They have joined allegiance in abusing their power over those that are they can most victimize. Because the second criteria, like I told you, as qualifying for a royal ruler, is you have to prove you will not abuse your power, the abuse of power. That is the ultimate sin, the abuse of power. Let me see. It says you have to go, it says here, I wrote something down about the abuse of power. It says here, we are all contributing to the rectification and harmonization of our contribution to the expansion of a holistic creative endeavor. As the degenerate half is expanding its operations, so will be reflected in the regenerate half. It was revealed to me that this expanded creative kingdom, the degenerate cycle, will now begin with the dark interracial agenda that others they have come together in the sake of our restricted personal rights and freedoms, as well as the transgender agenda that is causing major issues when it comes to our children being wounded, are being indoctrinated into this result, as well as erasing gender qualifications, so that we got a disadvantage, where you got biological men competing against biological women. What you got to see is that everything has taken an expansive, there's an expansive agenda, and the attack is on Big Mama, Mama Universe, especially when it comes to all this gender thing. Because one of the things that has been expressed in this identity when it comes to gender is we can't even describe the word woman anymore. Can't even deal with the word woman, which means the womb of man, which is Big Mama, the womb, woman. So it is obscuring the creative process. What my spirit said to me is anything anti-life is anti-Christ. Anti-life is anti-Christ. And Mama represents the fertility and the fruitfulness of our creative powers, our the fruitfulness, the creative fruitfulness, and the blossoming of the creative process. And anything that goes against that is anti-Christ. So not being able to say the word woman is trying to eliminate the womb of man from the creative process and turn everything into a system of artificiality, because it's all about control and taking away your personal rights, your personal freedoms, your personal choices. And these fractions have come together to do that. And they're using this banner of, we're protecting the victims. And in the whole pot of victims, we have they're protecting the Black people, the gay people, the illegal aliens, the anyone that they can use banner as a victim in the pretense of protecting them. But it's not for that protection. It's for an agenda that is where they create the problem in order to resolve the problem by taking away the rights and the freedoms of the people and making choices and decisions and hiding around that banner of we're doing this to protect victims. Well, number one, you're not supposed to be identifying yourself as a victim. This is the programming, the logic and reason that is being used to forward an agenda that we can't even describe the repercussions it will have for us. But we don't have to worry about that. We really don't. That is why they're doing so much to distract us and keep us in doubts, fears, and guilt, because they want us looking outside rather than inside, because that's where we will connect to the powers we have universally. All of us get our blessings through Jupiter, the great beneficent, Sagittarius, the planetary ruler of Sagittarius. Jupiter is a very optimistic energy. Whatever it touches, it brings in abundance. It's the great beneficent. That means we have to be up there to tap into those blessings, as well as getting in partnership with your spirit through Libra, which is the sign of peace. So once we have partnered with our spirit, we have to sit back at peace and secure. We have to sit back at peace and secure in partnership with our spirit, as well as tapping into the highest vibration of that Jupiter energy to gain our blessings. So that means we have to be, and in order to do that, we have to be secure. We have to be secure in that power from within. We have to be secure in a larger universal power that has our best interest at stake. The reason we have such the ability to be secure about that is because we have spiritual ancestors that are on the front line, helping to guide that energy from the universe personally in our benefit, proving to us that we have connections. We got people, or we got spirits that are connected to who we are personally, so that can make those, that it can guide that energy to us personally. That's the spirit realm, Father's domain. But we also have ancient ancestors that we can also channel from. We are the physical vessels on ground zero, ground level, now having access to all that highest royal energy of the universe. But we got to know that. That's the Aquarian age. Now we got to not just know that, we got to walk in that knowing. We got to walk in the authority of that royalty. But in order to do that, we have to look larger than what we're looking. We're too literal in our perspective. So you have to go beyond the personal to a higher connotation of the energy and how it's affecting the world, and then bring it back to how it's affecting you in the same way personally. That is how we are able to identify as that individual vessel and how we're being influenced by energy that is also influencing the earth, making the connection from the individual to the collective, having a better perspective of how to operate in an individual role in support of a larger collective, universal, royal agenda. But if we're seeing ourselves as victims, prone dark winter, food shortage, war, looking at people shooting up public places, these are all constantly put in our face daily now to keep us focused in the fears. And if we're in our fears regarding these things, then we're not secure in how we step up and have a role in overcoming that level of participation. We have to now step up to a higher agenda. Some of you may have heard me say this before. There was, I always talk about the cartoon episode Homer Simpson, and where he finds a monkey claw and he has 3 wishes. Man, I don't like that flashing light, but I don't know what to do to stop it because I don't see anything flashing here. But anyway, he finds a monkey claw and he has 3 wishes. And the last wish, he wishes for a bologna sandwich. Everybody said, well, why would he waste his wish on a bologna sandwich? And what I keep telling people is that when we wish for money, a house, a car, a job, those are now bologna sandwiches because we're stepping up in the cosmos. And now we have to step up to higher values. That includes prosperity, peace of mind, security, protection, harmony, joy. These are higher universal values. And if a house, a car, money is part of it, it'll come with it. But we've got our wish list too low. We've been programmed to have our wish list too low. We're stepping up, and now we have to step up in the things that are of value to where we're headed. And those are higher things, in order to step up to this universal purpose. So we gotta start looking more conceptual. We have to have a bigger perspective. We have to look bigger than what we've been literally programmed through logic and reason, doubts, fears, and guilts to believe is real when it's not real. What is real is within. The key to the universe is balance. There's always an opposite reflection. You got to know that. You got to know that as you look at what's falling on this end, that the opposite is happening on the spiritual end. And it's not until you see both of those sides of the coin do you understand the full picture. If you're not looking at the full picture, you're only seeing the illusion. So what we're seeing falling now, Jubilee. Especially when it comes to the royal demise of this system that has become corrupted. There's been a 70-year rule of ultimate corruption. It has reached this maximum. It can't go any further. And when we reach the maximum, that is when you complete that half, and the other half is now being activated. And that's the significance of the Virgo as we cleanse and purge, and sitting right next to Leo, royalty, rulership, as we sing that cleansed and purged from the physical half of the operation and open up to the wisdom. Now we can ascend and step up and begin to fulfill our higher purpose in harmony, in synchronicity with a universal purpose. And that is where we're at in this whole scheme of things. I hope I wasn't too fragmented in trying to put all these pieces together, but it's really so much, I want to try to impart. And sometimes I know I will jump around a little bit, but I guess that's why it's good to go ahead and ask questions so it can focus me at where, you guys need more understanding.
You gave us exactly what we needed, the message we exactly needed tonight.
Beautiful.
I was zoned out listening. Your message went deep into my subconscious. It passed the conscious and went into the subconscious.
And coming from a Virgo, that says a lot.
Real. But you said Pisces
yes.
is the sign of the subconscious. What's the sign of the conscious mind?
Gemini.
Gemini is the sign of the conscious. Wow.
Gemini is the sign of the conscious mind. And its opposite sign is Sagittarius. They did I used to do the symbolisms of the Super Bowl, and they did one of the rituals they did in the Super Bowl was Prince on the stage shaped like a penis, and and it was symbolic of the Prince of Power, Gemini, now resurrecting, because they pulled down the screen at the end of and they showed his silhouette as he used this guitar to represent resurrection. So the individual Prince of Power, Gemini, resurrecting into a Sar or Sagittarius. The last fire sign, the ultimate sun of power, Jupiter energy. So Gemini, Sagittarius, that axis of energy. The conscious mind, where you dissect pieces of information for understanding. Anytime you're dealing with the air element, that's the mind, that's the conscious mind. And then Pisces, the subconscious mind. Both of them are on the mutable cross. The mutable cross is, like I said, the cardinal cross activates a royal level of energy. The fixed cross will set it into motion. And then the mutable cross will adapt this whole new reality to a whole new level in the universe. Those are the magical components, because you're dealing with the threes there. You're dealing with Gemini, the third sign, Virgo, the sixth sign, Sagittarius, the ninth sign, and Pisces, the 12th sign. So those are the magical, especially Pisces, ultimate magic. And we're actually really experiencing Pisces energy, because you always fulfill to the opposite. So being in Virgo, is a fulfillment of Pisces. When we get in Pisces, it's a fulfillment of Virgo, you see. So, that's the conscious mind, Gemini, and then Pisces is the subconscious. Subconscious, mama's domain, internal, antiquity, hidden. Anytime you're dealing with anything hidden, magical, and ancient, that's mama's domain. Father, we're dealing with the visible. We're dealing with the external, and we're dealing with spiritual. We're always dealing with the spiritual, the air element. We're dealing with, like our spiritual destiny, our spiritual purposes, how we think. This is what the Father is doing. He's trying to create a righteous collective mindset. He is the one as set an ancient form of the Father that cut Osar, Sagittarius, down into the 14 pieces or the 14 cycles of time in order to mature, to think righteously. Because like I said, the only sin is the abuse of power. Sagittarius being the last fire sign, Jupiter energy was the sun most prone to abuse his power. So Father, the air, righteous thinking, cut the sun down into 14 cycles of time to mature in how to use that power righteously before he could be fully endowed. Because that cycle we're looking at, when we went from Virgo up and ascend into Libra. When we ascend into Libra, that's where we can get into a partnership with our own spirit. That's the sign of partnership. It's an air sign. Air always deals with spirit. Planetary ruler is Venus, Earth. So a partnership between the spirit and the physical. And then all twin souls get into partnership with their spirit through Libra. Then they come together and bond as twin souls. Once you have gotten in partnership with your spirit, now you bond with others in partnership with their spirit as twin souls. That's Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of bonding. When you leave Libra, you go into Scorpio, where you now bond as twin souls. That is what will activate the transformation. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. The death of the old, rebirth of the new at a higher level. Old has to go in order for the new to blossom. In the Tarot deck, it's the 13th major arcana card as the death card. Death and rebirth, Scorpio. So you bond in Scorpio and activate the transformation, what the Mayans call the great crossover. It crosses you over into Sagittarius, where you step up to the abundance and the fulfillment of your collective powers through Sagittarius. Sagittarius, as the ultimate sun, as he comes to the abundance of his power, he then comes into balance with Capricorn at the winter solstice, the ultimate daughter of character, the princess, the high priestess. And so the ultimate son of power now comes into balance with daughter character or the princess of the royal family. And that's the culmination and the fulfillment, you see, where the opposite sign of Sagittarius is Gemini, the father, the heir, and the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, the mama. So where we got this ultimate son and daughter balanced at the highest level, and then at the bottom level, we have the father and the mama coming into balance so that we have the full scope of balance. And like I said, when that balance occurs, we get the equinox, which is the Aries and Libra, or Mars and Venus, and that is the yin and the yang. And it's when they become equal, the two halves, the equinox equal, that's when creation occurs. That's when you get that full spiral, that full 360 spiral, holistic. We got to step up holistic to continue those holistic spirals. Each spiral we complete takes us to a new level in this holistic process. You have to complete. And the first spiral is the one with your own spirit. So you being Virgo, that means your spiritual energy is Pisces. So you would balance with your opposite. Spirit and physical are opposites. So you're the physical vessel through Virgo that can now access the energy through Pisces, the subconscious, our ancient memory, our Akashic records, when we reconnect to the powers of our ancestors. People should already notice their gifts already starting to open up. Things are starting to prove to you that you do have spiritual powers that are ready to blossom. You just got to step up. You got to know that. But like I said, not just know it. You got to be able to walk in the knowing of that power. That's the Aquarius and Leo. You have to know your power in order to activate it. If you don't know it, you don't have it, you see. So, like I said, use my phrase, hammer time. You can't touch this, you see. Once you know who you are, That is why you have to be secure from the internal, being secure from within in your knowing of who you are. Now it's time for us to walk in the authority of that royalty. It's our responsibility to step up. This is about daughter Earth, so healing daughter Earth, you see. But we're getting help from Mama Universe and Father Spirit. Those are our true universal parents. We have been usurped from our connection to them through the Father of Illusion, the Ma of Tricks, the Matrix, and the Ma of Terror, materialism. Okay, so now we're getting divine intervention. It's one reason they wanted to keep us out of the sun for the last 3 years, keep us separated. They know exactly what time it is. And they're doing everything they can to keep us from stepping up to that. What I had to say about not sitting in judgment of one another is very significant in this process, because that is what they're using. That's the tool they're using against us, divide and conquer. That has always been their tool. So what they're doing is fanning the flames of, we're going to give favoritism to the Black people, so the white people get mad. We're going to give favoritism to the straight people, so the gays will get mad. We're going to give they're showing favoritism to each group in order to inflame another group, you say. What the opposite of that in the spiritual domain is about the not blending energy, learning how to harmonize energy. Everybody's bringing a unique flavor to this new creative rulership. So we don't sit a judgment of one another. We learn to harmonize with each other. Like I always do with the hand. You have your little finger, your ring finger, your middle finger, your index, your thumb, your back of your hand, your palm, your nails. All these are unique components that come together to make a hand. Everybody has a unique role and contribution to the whole, the one and all and the all in one. It's time to harmonize energy, not blend energy. We can't all blend into one mindset about what's right or what's wrong. Okay? Everybody has their own unique right to what it is that they personally choose, as their reality. So it's not for us to sit in judgment of that. It's for us, to harmonize, in our energy at a higher level. We're all bringing. That's another reason Aquarius is the sign of uniqueness. So everybody has a unique purpose. So that's between each individual and their spirit, and how high they can tap into that universal royal energy if it's based in righteousness. Judgment is reserved only for the offense of an abuse of power. And the more innocent the victim, the more egregious the sin. Remember that, you guys. Judgment is reserved only for the offense of an abuse of power. And the more innocent the victim, the more egregious the sin. The universe is identifying new rulers, but that doesn't mean everyone else is being left out of the process. It's just a new humanitarian rulership that is opening up, that is going to vibrate the real trickle-down theory. Because it's evolutionary process. It's going to take everything up. Okay? As we get a new higher rulership, it's going to evolve the energy vibration. So everybody has to come up to a new level in their vibration based on the spiritual principles of righteousness. That is what the universe is based on, the principles of righteousness. Daughter Earth has been off conformity. Now she's getting back in conformity with the larger universal principles of righteousness. The only thing that is going to be in judgment is those that are abusing their power, especially over those who are of the most innocent, and right now that's what's happening when it comes to the children. The children are the most victimized at this time, and the governments and the systems that appear to be powerless to stop that. But that's when Big Mama comes to the table. That is what Mama means. I will take care of your needs when it gets beyond your capability. That is what the energy of Mama means. Okay? When it gets too big for you, just like when you were a child, a baby, your mama took care of your needs beyond your capability. Now we're stepping up to a cosmic mama who's ready to do the same thing. Take care of our needs beyond our capability. And the systems of the powers that have be has become so corrupted. They have, I can't even go into the horrendous things that they're doing, especially to the children. And we're not just talking physical abuse, we're talking mental, especially mental. The educational system has been corrupted for the last 50 years. It has been planting its seeds of corruption in our children. And that is why it's reached this maximum, because they are the most innocent of victims, and it's reached the stage where this corruption is now attacking the most innocent, which are the children. They're giving surgery to these children behind the parents' back through the school systems. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing evidence of these children now growing up and expressing the regrets of what has been done to them. Mm-hmm. And it's getting out of hand. Do you know now they've gotten it? The last, now they're saying, if you don't call a person by the right pronoun, they can now bring legal actions against you. This is ludicrous. This is getting ludicrous. But because they get the majority to conform, mm-hmm. to compromise, then they use that as a tool against those who don't want to. That's why I said we got to stop judging one another. Everybody has a personal right to make the choices that they believe is right for them, without, being badgered and alienated and, losing your job, because you're not comfortable with a choice. Other people that may be comfortable with it, has to see that it doesn't make it right because you're comfortable with it, to hold that against somebody who is not seeing that as something that is their choice to do. But that's what they're doing. They're fanning that type of flame now, turning us against each other in a divide and conquer method. Just because that's not for me doesn't mean I have to judge it as wrong for everybody, and vice versa. Right. So this is what we got to understand. That's why that piece about the judgment had to come into play, because new rules are opening up, because, in this whole process, new realities have come to the table, and the universe is about righteousness. And if you're in righteousness, then that does not disqualify you, from harmonizing with those who, we all have to, like a hen, work together in our differences, if we all blended into one aspect, we all became thumbs, how much will we get done here? That is not what this is about. That's not feasible. But they're using the logic and reason of a conscious reality to try to program you into believing that they can define what's right and what's wrong. I mean, okay, they had essential businesses versus non-essential businesses. So what kind of virus understands the difference? Shut down the small business, shut down the gyms, anything personal for you, but keep open the grocery stores, corporate stores. So that means the virus knows the difference between when you're going to a big store versus you're going to a personal business, right? That doesn't make sense at all. You know, and if it doesn't make sense, somebody's lying to you. So there is no one who can sit up in judgment of that and decide, you know, willy-nilly who gets to participate and who doesn't have to. And that's the kind of system you're going to get with what they're trying to push on us.
Wow.
You understand? We all, on the physical have a personal right to our choices and our love and our, you know, what it is we define is right for us in our personal reality. And then that has to come together in harmony as a collective, universal, fulfill a collective purpose. As long as you're doing what you're doing in righteousness, as long as it's not going against and abusing, you know, anyone else's rights, you know, then you have a right to bring that to the table as inclusive in a new creative reality that's opening up. So they had to step up their agenda and give us things that are, you know, beyond rational to accept as a method of seeing how willing we are to compromise ourselves based on the fears that they've been perpetuating, which is only really part of an illusion. It's not real. Most of the stuff you're seeing in the news is scripted. It's scripted just to get your focus, your attention, because that's how we energize. And it doesn't matter if you love it or hate it. Just the fact that you're focusing, you're energizing, and that's all they want. What we have, we don't even know if the queen has really passed away. I'm going to tell you what was given to me. And you guys heard it before. It's no shock that these are the shapeshifters. And she hasn't been able to hold her form anymore. So they had to take her out of commission. She couldn't hold her form. They were showing, I just saw a video where they were showing people shape shifting, and they were focusing on the eyes and how the eyes were going into slits. And she was one of them that they had focused on. She was one of them that they showed that was losing her grip on not shape shifting. And I think that's what really is why they had to take her out of commission, because she couldn't hold that form.
Man,
which a lot of them are not anymore.
This has been a powerful live. Powerful live. Oh man. Whew. The lights is blinking. I mean,
I don't understand that. I don't see anything
energy.
here.
your
I
energy.
guess so.
That's your
It's crazy.
energy is off the hook.
But it's kind of distracting, though. I didn't. That's why I stopped looking.
The people appreciate it. The people like, yo, the people appreciate it. Wow. Before we get out of here, Sister Myra, tell the people about are you how can they contact you for readings? I know you do read. Are you still doing them, right?
Oh, honey, my schedule is all the way out to November of next year. Okay,
Oh yeah, November. Okay.
November of next year. Yeah. Like I said, you can questions you can text me. But I mean, if you want an appointment,
If they're willing to wait that long,
yeah, they are, but if they don't do it now, if they want one, they may never get one. Okay, so I'll be working for now until at least November of next year so far. So, yes, mainly, my videos and my book. I got to order some more books though. I'm getting low on that. So, but like I said, text message is the best way to connect with me, and then you can let me know what you're dealing with, and I can see if I can help you through that method. But what I'm trying to tell people is the questions that they're asking me are the questions they should be now asking their own spirit. The only thing that I do is give them a message from their spirit when I do a consultation. They can do that for themselves, you see. And because that's all we need to be doing right now. Everybody say, what do we need to do? Just get into that relationship with your own spirit. You've done your half. Now it's time to let your spirit do its half. It's the one that's responsible for giving you the understanding of how to step up to this next level that we're stepping up to. It's your spirit's responsibility. That is why we're all on a unique journey. And only your spirit is the one who can give you guidance, who's guided you through all these lifetimes. And this is where you get training in order to understand the method of communication between you and your spirit. This is how you get the practice. Put it out there. Spirit, here's my question. And then have your antennas up so your spirit can show you how it responds. And then it'll continue, to give you each piece and guidance until you catch on. Oh, that's how my spirit does it. You're going to have a special, unique language between you and your spirit, and it wants to train you on that. So a lot of the questions people are coming to me are the very questions that they need to put out to their spirit to answer, so that it can give them that guidance and the practice on how it is communicating with them. You give your spirit its chance now. You've had your half. Now let your spirit show you its half. That's the only thing you need to do. Get in balance with your spirit.
Excellent. Well, I'm definitely you got my frequency X super high right now. And you're definitely right when you say you're gonna have your own unique language with the spirit. That's something that you gotta understand, and you have to just continue to grow.
Yes.
Every year I develop my language with spirit more and more, and I understand. Sometimes you wish somebody else could understand it, but then you realize that it's just meant for you.
Absolutely.
And you accept.
Yeah. And that's how the spirit can really get through to you. It can really, even when I do readings, okay, it's a message from your own spirit. And there'll come a point, and I say your spirit will usually validate that. And usually it does come to a point where, I'm vibing, I'm channeling, I'm putting the information together, I'm coming to a point, and all of a sudden here shows a card that doesn't fit the context of what I'm picking up. I'm like, I don't know what this is really about. And then they'll say it. They'll say, oh, yeah, like a house shows up. Oh yeah, I had a dream about a house last night, or we just moved into my grandma's house. So this is how the spirit proves it's not my message. It's, your spirit's message. I'm just the messenger. I call myself the reporter for the cosmos. I'm not responsible for the message. Like I told you, when I started worrying about giving people the right message, when I first started reading cards, my spirit said, it's not you, fool. Just read the cards, okay? And that was a liberation for me. I'm not responsible for the message. I'm just responsible for delivering the message. I'm an excellent message deliverer, but it's not my message, you see. So don't get mad at me. Don't get upset with me. I'm just reporting. I'm an energy master. I study energy. And I'm just here. I have a Gemini moon. Wherever your Gemini is at is where you channel. You got Gemini somewhere in your chart. And that's where you're going to most be prone to channel. So I channel. The moon represents the closest planetary body of water, representing mama and how she feels. So I channel from the moon, or how mama feels, and then communicate it. Gemini is the sign of communication to the world. That is my role. That's all I'm here to serve in that role. So don't hold me responsible for the message. Just, but you can do that for yourself. Okay. You can do that. Your spirit is waiting to give you that, while they're on one end waving their arms and distracting you to get your focus. Your spirit is doing the same thing on the other end, and we are too, I know the masculine is not going to like it, but it's time out for the books and research and all of that. Right now, you know everything you need to know. Now it's time to utilize what you know. Walk in that knowing. That comes from within. That's where your spirit begins to give you the walk of what you know, where it bears the fruit for that, where it gives you the demonstration. Now is the time to practice in getting the demonstration from your spirit as to the power you have from the universe, from within. There's coming a time very, very soon when spirit says move, and we're not going to have the luxury of second guessing it. So now is the time to practice that communication with your spirit. People come to me, I'm only giving them a message from their spirit. They can do that. And it's time for them to do that. And that is who will teach you how to understand, or how to know, or what it is that you need to know about how your spirit is guiding you to step up to a new level. And that's what we're doing, stepping up to a new level.
What is your number that they could text you at? I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Area code 336 965 0180. That's 336 965 0180.
Yeah, and your message is so on point, Sister Myra. I remember along my journey, there was a time in my journey when I was addicted to reading. I'm reading books on meditations, and it was like I'd rather read the book than do the actual meditation. And one day it hit me. I was like, damn, man, why do you meditate? And I'm just sitting there like, I'm just sitting there reading the book, and I'm like, just meditate, do meditation. Because I'm like, no, I got to perfect it. I kept saying I got to perfect it before. We caught in this thing of perfection. I got to perfect it before I do it. I got to perfect it, and I never end up doing it. And I realized, I'm like, damn, I got to put that down. I got to just do it. So
our mind gets in the way. The conscious mind cannot, it's got its limitations. It's the air element. Air dissects, cuts down pieces of information for understanding. Okay, so that is what your conscious mind do. We have to get to the subconscious. That is symbolism. That is where you're going to see numerology, astrology. You're going to see a combination of factors come together to represent the whole. So, yeah, you got to come out of the conscious mind. That's your enemy right now. We got to put a pin in what we know and now operate on what we feel within. And then as we put it in balance with what we've mastered on the knowing half, we got to put a pin in the know and then reactivate what we feel. And as we reactivate what we feel from our ancient memory, the subconscious, and put that in equal balance with the value we've given to what we know, that is when we've balanced Father Spirit with Mama Soul in order to become whole or holistic. That's another level of evolution. Many, many levels. Individual, couple, family, community, state, nation, global, planetary, universal, star system. All these are the levels of balance that has to occur for us to continue to ascend through those spirals.
Okay? So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure your contact, the wait is worth it. I love showing people this because it reminds me of my journey. And when I think about my journey, it's been so pleasurable. Like I said, family, I collect these. Like people collect baseball cards and they save. So I saved. This was my reading.
Yes.
Sister Myra cassette tape 55. That's her writing. Richard Astro 5505. That's when I got this reading from Sister Myra, and I've been on this journey a long time, family, and I'm thankful to be at this point in my journey. I'm thankful for people like Myra who has helped me along the journey, and I show y'all this to let y'all know that the Queen has been doing this for a long time. The Oracle has been doing this for a long time, and it's worth the wait. You know, sign up and just wait. It'll come before you know it, and you'll be like, oh, my reading is next week or whatever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, once again, this is my cassette tape, Sister Myra. I want to thank you for coming on the show again. I admire what you do for this world and for this universe.
Wonderful.
And shout out to King Simon in the chat room.
Yes. King Simon. Yes, King Simon.
King Simon is there.
Yes.
Anything else you want to tell the people before we get out of here, Sister Myra?
I'm gonna repeat. Go beyond the personal to a higher connotation of the energy. Look how it's affecting worldwide, then bring it back to seeing how it's affecting you the same way personally. That is how you make a connection to the individual energy and to how it's connected to the collective energy so that you can balance. The key is balance, everyone. Opposite reflections, equal balance and opposite reflections. You have to know that what one end is doing is being reflected in the opposite in equal measure. So, keep that in mind, because that's how we step up and start operating as holistic beings, royal beings. We can't be literalized and have every fear about anything that could impact us, in this physical illusion. It is an illusion. It's not real. What's real is internal, cultivated from within. Spirit moves inside out, not outside in. Spirit needs a vessel just as much as the vessel needs the spirit. And it's equal, not one higher or lower. It's all about the balance or the equality of balancing first with your own spirit and then climbing that spiral ladder to the highest levels that you can take that vibration, because as high as you can take it is as high as you'll draw it back in return. That's it. Love your family.
Everybody's battery should be fully charged right now. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Sister Myra, thank you. This is Black Magic. We signing out. Peace.
Peace.